Well, that sucked. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to be giving you my WrestleMania 42 Saturday reactions. I just want to say that I think this was a horrible night. Matches were way too short. The main event didn't have a good finish with Randy losing. So many ads and commercials, and I can say that it's definitely the worst WrestleMania night I've watched so far. I don't have hopes for night two, but you never know. Night two might be better. Maybe it can save this Mania from being one of the worst. But in this video, we're gonna go through every match, and we're gonna talk about the winner, if I think it was the right decision, and where I think we're gonna go from now. We're going to start with the six-man tag match that was ISO Speed, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory versus the Usos and LA Knight. Again, like I was saying, this match was very quick. It went for 7 minutes. Speed didn't really do a lot. He didn't have a lot of time to show if he was a good wrestler or not because of how quick the match was. Wasn't entertaining. It was just like a random episode of Raw match, six-man tag match on an episode of Raw. It just didn't feel like a Mania match. It didn't give that vibe that like, oh wow, it is WrestleMania and getting it excited. It didn't do that. Um, it was a very underwhelming start to the match. I mean, to the night, and I'm definitely giving that a thumbs down. Um, Definitely. But the winners were the Usos and LA Knight, and I was right on my prediction, which I'm happy about. So I'm 1 for 1 so far on night one. Then the next match was Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match. Um, Again, this match actually wasn't short compared to like all the other ones, but it just for being an unsanctioned match compared to the last unsanctioned match we had between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber, that unsanctioned match was very brutal. Good. It was like it lasted 30 minutes, 27 minutes, and it was perfect. This unsanctioned match felt more like a SmackDown street fight main event on a random episode just the in the middle of the week and leading up to like a backlash or something. It did not feel like a Mania match. It didn't even feel like a pay-per-view match, like I said, a SmackDown main event. I was right with the prediction that Jacob Fatu would win. He beat Drew McIntyre after he put Drew on the table and then his mighty moonsault onto the table and got the pin. Um, I think that for the time they had, it was boring. Um, like they got, I feel like some other matches that I'm going to be talking about soon deserved longer time than that. I'm actually also going to give that a thumbs down just because it was boring. It just felt like didn't feel like an unsanctioned match. No blood. Um, it just didn't live up to the hype. And now gonna talk about when the show actually started um, on ESPN, and you had to pay for it at 7. The first match we had was the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Um, well, we know that Nikki might have been hurt, and we found out she was hurt, so it would be Nikki Bella, but she said she wouldn't ruin Brie Bella's moment at WrestleMania, and she said, "Well, I called in a friend," and then to a thunderous pop, the return of Paige. Um, Paige came out and took Nikki's spot, came down to the ring with Brie, and then the match happened. It was the match between Bailey and Lyra, Bailey and Lyra versus Charlotte and Alexa versus the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Last Legend versus Brie Bella and a returning Paige. Um, again, I thought this match was, for what they had, it was good, but again, it was way too short, only being like 8 minutes. I feel like there's like six other women in this match that they can break up the pin, but 8 minutes in, they're all already like too weak, too have not enough energy to go do it, and Paige hits her finishing move, and they get the pin, and your new women's tag team champions are Paige and Brie Bella. Um, Again, I'm actually gonna give this match a thumbs down. Like, I'm happy with the winner, happy that Paige returned, but they just needed way more time. But instead, we got more commercials. And following that match, we had AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the for the women's Intercontinental Championship. Again, same issue here. This match was short, only like 8 minutes as well. I don't understand why it was also 8 minutes. Very confused about that. This was a semi good match. Um, I actually gonna give it a thumbs up. I think. Like, for what time they had and what they did in that time was pretty good. I think it just needed to be at least 15 minutes, maybe, because it's been a feud that's been happening for 6 months, and AJ Lee has beat Becky every time. In this moment, when Becky wins, it's only an 8-minute match that just needed more time to tell its story. And I was right with the prediction with Becky Lynch winning. Um, so yeah. The next match is Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Um, this match would have been a best match of the night if there wasn't interference, but like we thought, um, Seth Rollins lost the match because of interference from a returning Braun Breaker. Um, and then Gunther was able to get him in the ring and get him into the sleeper hold, which ended the match. But the match itself was really good. It went for 15 minutes. Should have went longer, but it was cool when Seth hit the stomp on top of the announce table. He was on one of the announce tables, and he stomped and jumped onto the other one and stomped him. It was pretty cool, that moment. It was just a great match, but it needed more time, and there shouldn't have been any shenanigans. It didn't need shenanigans. Um, so I'm actually gonna give this a thumbs up, just um the actual the actual in ring match. It would have been way better if, like I said, if it went longer, or maybe Braun Breaker attacked him after. And yes, that prediction is wrong. I predicted Seth to win, and that means I did not get that one right. The next match was Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. Going into this, I thought this was going to be the best match, honestly, of the weekend. It was the match I was most excited for, um, which is telling a lot because they didn't really ever get a lot of screen time on Raw to build it, but every time they did have like a minute segment or a 2 minute segment, they used it perfectly, and I thought it was great. The build and Liv winning the Rumble was great. Vaquer and them having a great feud, and we get to the match. The entrances for both Liv and Stephanie were great. Liv came out to her Trouble theme song. It was a cool entrance, probably the best entrance of the night. And then Steph came out, and there was all kinds of like roses flying everywhere. It was really cool, but and then that was it. Like, the entrances were almost longer than the match. The match that I was most excited for, the match that was going to be the biggest match, the Women's World Championship match, ended up being 9 minutes. Not even getting 10 is crazy. And, like, um, it's just embarrassing that WrestleMania had 4 matches under 10 minutes. That's like 30 minutes of commercials, and then you get a 10-minute, not even a 10-minute match. It's just horrible. They, for the time they had, it was good, the match, for the time they had. They used every bit of it. But I didn't like how, like, really quick into the match the shenanigans started with the girls from Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, getting involved. I feel like they shouldn't have got involved, and I feel like it should have been a 17-minute match, back and forth. And when it ended, that's when it was starting to get good. Right when it ended, it started to get good, but Bliv hit Oblivion on Steph and got the 1, 2, 3 to become your new women's world champion. I think I'm just gonna give the match a down again, just because of how quick it was. How I'm happy Liv won. That's a positive. But overall, I think it's a down just because of how uh, good the feud was going into Mania, and then they only get 9 minutes. I feel like it's just disrespectful. Like I said, this could have been the best match of the entire weekend if given the proper amount of time, because in the 9 minutes they had, it was great. And if they got double the time, if they got like 16 minutes, it would definitely be the best match of the night, by far, because it wasn't hard to top, because it wasn't a really good episode. I mean, good night of wrestling. I was right on my prediction with this, predicting Liv to win. Um, so that is a positive. And now it's time to talk about the main event of night one: Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the undisputed WWE Championship. This match, going into this match, the feud was horrible. Not gonna lie. Started off really good with, like, a month ago, after Randy won the Chamber, he attacked Cody, turned heel, and it was so cool. And then a few weeks were good as well, and the Kid Cardona stuff. But then we got the reveal of the person on the phone. Turns out to be Pat McAfee, and that's when the feuds takes a turn down for the worst. Then we get to the match. Before the match even starts, Pat McAfee gets the microphone and attacks Cody. They're attacking Cody. Obviously, had to happen. And then Cody got the upper hand, cross-roaded Pat McAfee. Cody puts him on a table, and then they flash to Jelly Roll out there. And Jelly Roll jumps onto him and breaks the table. And they stretcher him out there. Stretcher him out. Pat McAfee out of the building, which was cool. So we finally get the one-on-one match that we wanted forever against Randy and Cody. And then the match happens. The match goes back and forth for like 20 minutes. Really good match, from like an in-ring perspective. And then things take a turn for the worst. Randy RKO's the ref. And then he actually hits an RKO on Cody, but the ref's down, so there's no ref to count. And then Pat McAfee comes running out in a referee uniform with a neck brace on, gets into the ring, hits a slow ass pin, and Cody kicks out. And then Randy's pissed about it, so Randy RKO's Pat McAfee, which gives Cody the upper hand to get Randy into the crossroads. Hits one crossroads as the ref's slowly getting back up, and then he gets the 1, 2, 3 to retain his title. And then after the match, Cody's standing tall, but then Randy grabs the title from him. hits him with it, and then he lines up and hits the punt on Cody. Again, just they didn't need to do that. After you do it during the match, and then Randy wins with it, I don't understand why um, that happened. I don't even know when Randy's gonna win 17. I mean 15. At this point, I don't even know if he's gonna. I really hope he does, but like this was the moment that you needed Randy to win. This is the moment for Randy to be have number 15 at WrestleMania, at this big WrestleMania moment. But no, they need their golden boy Cody to win the title and keep it again, of course. Why not? Yeah. I'm actually definitely from an in-ring perspective, the match was good, but overall with the winner and everything that else happened, I'm gonna give it a thumbs down. The main event of night one is a thumbs down. I was wrong about my prediction of Randy winning. Sadly, Cody won, and I'm just like, now we're done with the matches. Just like the whole show wasn't entertaining that much. So many ads, so many recaps. Not necessary. Like they literally had way more ads than actual wrestling, and the intros sometimes were even longer, and sometimes it was like 30 minutes in between matches from the start of one, from the end of one match to the start of the next one. Like I think the women's world title match ended at like, I don't know, like pretty early, and then didn't come on for at least 25 more minutes till the main event, which is not good because he just had ads during it. Yeah, I'm just gonna give this overall WrestleMania 42 night one an overall a down. I don't think that this is a Mania night. Like I don't know how night two will pan out, but I won't ever probably go back to watch this Mania night one ever again. Just very lackluster and didn't feel like a WrestleMania at all. And I'm sad to say that because like we all didn't like the build. The build never was good for this Mania at all. And then on top of that, it was in Vegas again. Pat McAfee's involved, all these celebrities. But we all, I thought that the match is on paper looked really good and that they would make up for how bad the build was. But then we got to the pay per view and it wasn't it. And it's crazy because if every match got like, besides the 6-man tag, because that was fine at 7 minutes, but if every other match got like 5 to 10 more minutes, it would be an amazing night of wrestling. But instead, we got a lackluster, not worth the money episode. I mean, yeah, I mean WrestleMania, and it just felt like an episode of Raw or something that wasn't that good. That's it for my reactions. I will be coming out with my reactions for night two tomorrow. It's been DTM, and I'm out.